Welcome back to the McCowan podcast. Kevin Weeks of ESPN, kind enough to join Richard and me. Okay. You get to choose. Maple Leafs or Bedard? Maple Leafs or Bedard? Which one fascinates you the most?
Richard?
I would say, the Maple Leafs are far more interesting to me, obviously, just given where I live. We're gonna have like 20 years to talk about Bedard. So let's start with Maple.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So you got Austin Matthews is now killing penalties. Is that a controversy? Is that a good thing?
I don't think it's a controversy. I think he's become a much more well-rounded player, contrary to what a lot of people think. I like the way he's rounded out his game. Perhaps they feel like this will give him another dimension and also have him playing different minutes to add that dimension to his game. So what do I mean by that? Well, hey, if he's killing penalties, he's out there as one of the best offensive players in the world in Austin Matthews, certainly one of the best goal scorers, if not the best pure shooter. Well, now he's out on a penalty kill, and now he has to defend against Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. Or now he has to defend against Sid. Oh, no, Gino has it. Oh, sorry, now it's up to Letang. Sorry, it's over to Erik Karlsson. Now he has to defend against them on the penalty kill. My only one worry where that's concerned is any shot blocking. And we know he's had some injury issues with his hands, with his wrists and stuff. So the blocking of any shots, or maybe it's a desperation play along the boards. He's trying to close the gap on one of the offensive players on the power play, and he jams his wrist on the boards. I just think when you're playing penalty kill minutes, those are hard. Those are the hardest minutes to play. The hardest, no question, at every position. They're the most demanding. They're the most taxing physically, for sure, let alone mentally, because you're trying to process the game being one or two short. That's my one thing that I'm curious to see, and I would be holding my breath for, is heaven forbid he takes a one-timer. Somebody unleashes a one-timer and catches him in the wrist or the hand. That's my one worry. I know this might sound crazy because I'm a gear guy, like equipment guy. Maybe he even changes his gloves when he's penalty killing. Honestly, like maybe he plays with gloves that have the cuffs are a little bit longer. And
maybe sounding like grapes. What are you doing? You're sounding like grapes.
He wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong in that respect. It's true. Maybe he puts on the heavier gloves that have more HD foam and some more Kevlar in them when he's killing the penalty, because those hands that he has, those are surgeon's hands, so to speak. And there's a lot of financial weight and investment in those skilled hands of Austin Matthews. So those are my thoughts on that.
Are they the best team in the Atlantic?
Yeah, they are.
That wasn't a ringing endorsement, you know.
Here's why. Here's why. They are the best team in the Atlantic in terms of, they can win games. They're going to beat you 4, whatever. They can beat you 5-2. They're super skilled. They're very dynamic. They're fun to watch. But as I said in my conversations with their president of hockey ops, Shanny, who was my teammate twice, who've done a really good job of assembling the talent. But as I said to him, Shanny, we played against your 2002 Detroit Red Wing team. You guys beat us in the Stanley Cup. You guys didn't only have 10 or whatever Hall of Famers, including yourself. You guys could win games any way you wanted it. Any way. Chris Draper will give it to you. Marty Lapointe's going to give it to you. Darren McCarty's going to give it to you. Kirk Maltby's going to give it to you. I can go up and down the list. Forget Shanny, Brett Hull, Luc Robitaille in a third-line role there, Lariana, Fedorov, Yzerman, Lidstrom, Hasek. Forget even those guys. But these other players were able to be intense, physical. Some of them could fight. They could score. They could make a play. They could block shots. They could do a lot of the unsavory stuff and then sprinkle in a little bit of the high-end, high-octane stuff as well. That's what I need to see from the Leafs for me to give you that convincing grade. Yes, they're the best regular season team for sure, but that's what they need more of, which is why they went out and acquired some of these guys in the offseason.
Well, and a guy like Tyler Bertuzzi, Max Domi, This is we are now going to witness another 82-game preseason for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Correct. Exactly. And if you guys go down to Lake Ontario, and I don't mean up there in Oakville and the high rent districts where you guys are, but if you go a little bit, If you go a little further south down to QEW and just take a look there at Harborfront, you're gonna see an aircraft carrier with the last name Reeves on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an aircraft carrier. It's not a battleship, but it's an aircraft carrier. And I'm telling you, I believe whether they play him every night, some nights, certain nights. I've known Ryan Reeves a long time. He's a proud guy. His teammates love him. He's a pro's pro. He's pro stock, obviously, his dad with his incredible football career. He's a guy that's going to have a lot of those guys, not saying, and Max Domi won't, but those types of players are going to allow some of these guys for the Leafs to breathe much easier. And opposing teams aren't necessarily going to be taking liberties with a Mitch Marner nor an Austin Matthews. Yeah, I think it's going to give them some more room to make some plays, quite frankly.
You know what? The one thing that I mean, listen, everything in Toronto's conversation with these guys, but the one thing where I think it's like it actually is an interesting discussion, and there should be concern is the defense. The question is like, is that again, it's just like one person's opinion. Subjectively, that doesn't look like a Stanley Cup winning defensive core to me. That said, there's a couple guys on there. I'm not really sure exactly what McCabe is one. I don't know what to expect from him this year. Brody's been great, but he's old. Morgan Riley goes from a guy who looks like all world to a couple times like during the year he doesn't impact the game. So that to me is like the real sort of I think how you feel, just my take, how you feel about them defensively, I think will suggest how far you think they'll go. You buy that?
I'm buying all of that. And the reason why I'm buying all of that is I just referenced Detroit's team. Again, that's arguably the second, third best team all time, including the Oilers in the 80s up to 1990 when they won their last cup, and the great Montreal Canadiens teams as well. That Detroit Red Wing team, guys, it was lethal. I'm telling you, playing they were lethal. But here's the best part. Look at who the defense was. Look at, to your point, look at the defense, right? Now you look at Colorado when Colorado won the cup 2 years ago. Bowen Byram.
Yeah. Well, and even
Byram.
Vegas last year, Kevin.
Vegas
even
last year.
And so Richard's point is so valid.
Big time.
This is going to require a commitment, not just from the defense to play defense. This is going to require a commitment from the forwards to be difference makers. Because unless Brad is able to go out and made some sort of magnificent trade and get a stud, because I don't think they have a stud. See, Morgan Riley is a really good defenseman, but he ain't no stud.
Well, and you guys mentioned Boston earlier. I remember literally breaking the Hampus Lindholm trade behind a building. And I know
we saw half your face again. It was unbelievable.
You saw an eighth of that. An eighth of my forehead. But here's the reason why I say that. When that news came down, I'm thinking to myself, Anaheim's had so many good defensemen.
Yeah. This
guy's so good. I didn't know he was this good, but he's really good.
Yeah.
And when Boston, who already had McAvoy, I can go on and on, when Boston traded for him, I'm like, what? It's just like when Colorado got Devon Toews from the Islanders for 2 second-round picks. Look at Tampa's D. Remember when they got Ryan McDonough? Everybody was like, what? Tampa Bay got Ryan McDonough? So I couldn't agree with you guys more. I think the Leafs have done an outstanding job, especially of drafting and developing some of their forward talent. But there's been a gap between their forward talent, which is here, and we know a lot of it is all world. Then the defense outside of Morgan Riley that's drafted and developed, and then their goaltending that's drafted and developed. And the biggest challenge I have with that, guys, and you'll hear me say this every time, I'm a product of the system there. Just go down Weston Road, get to Lambton Arena, go to George Bell Arena, go to St. Mike's, go to Chesswood. These players are there. They're in their backyard. They have the best competitive advantage in the world. You're in the city that has the most arenas in the world. Plus the OHL is going up and down the 401 and going north and south. Plus you've got Tier 2 junior. So I really think they need to improve their defense. And there's so many players. Look at all the defensemen that come out of Toronto area. Look, forget players and whatever. We don't really produce that many goalies. But I just feel like that's an area of their team that's just been kind of cobbled a little bit.
Yeah.
It's been kind of cobbled together. It hasn't necessarily been the point of emphasis that it needs and it should be.